아니다 위위자니 힘을 지나라 네 맞춰지 네 위마와 위와 이수마자니 네 스키던 아니마 기야 네 위위자 막화만 나기니 막화 계신가이 니산 니웨 니기 지마 위위 니위 막화는 수주사이마 니맘 자세니 위위니 나수마 기막미야 이침니 막미기 막화에디 니와 나기니 이치니 민니와 막화만 나기니 막화 계신가이 니산 니웨 니기 지마 위위 니위 사이마 아니 맘 자신이 위위니 나수마 기막니앗 이침니 막니기 막화에디 니와 나기니 이치니 니니와 막화만 나기니 막화 계시가이 니산 니웨니 기치마 위위 니니 신앙이니 미치는 나비 니키니치 기야 니워라미 막화만 나기니 막화 캐시가이 니산 니웨니 기치와 위위 니니 이 레gacy 아키
Saratoga, the great state, land of opportunity, just words on paper. Out here, the land don't give nothing for free. Ain't no justice you can count on, only a struggle between the desperate and the crooked, between the gun and the badge. This land's been torn apart by outlaws and governments that don't know what side they're on. The blood-soaked ground. It's seen its share of bandits and killers, both with their own way of claiming power. But now, there's something new on the horizon. Something darker, more dangerous. When you hear that bell tower, you'll know it's high noon. High noon ain't just a game. It's a battle for survival. With modular tiles, every map can be what you make it. Characters have designated spaces, so loading up your posse is just a matter of seconds. Card-based combat is quick and simple, and that's just what you'll need, because time is running out. With Against the Clock, you're facing brand new territories, new challenges, and all new ways to outsmart your enemies. First, there's Purgatory, a ghost town left to rot. But in High Noon, it's your new battleground. 13 tiles to change the face of the game. Dusty roads, debris scatter in the streets, and empty, hollow buildings to hide in or die in. And then there's the big prize, a 2-story ruin, letting you take the high ground, shooting from that balcony while your enemies scramble below. You can add these tiles to your maps or build your own ghost town from scratch. Whatever you choose, Purgatory's where the real fight begins. But we ain't just talking tiles. We're bringing something new to the table. Literally. 3D buildings, the bank and the jail, they rise up from the board and add a whole new dimension to your fight. Use them to replace the tiles from your starter set, or add them to make the fight more dangerous, more intense. And then, there's the clock tower, the centerpiece of this campaign. It's got 2 levels of elevation, perfect for the kind of strategy that wins shootouts. Ladders let your characters climb higher and higher, getting the advantage on anyone below. But the clock tower ain't just for looks. It's a game changer, a functional round counter for all 12 rounds of the fight. And there's more. This clock tower, it comes with a little something extra, an exclusive campaign-only weapon, a prototype machine gun, deadly as all hell, the Vindicator. But this ain't just any loot, it's legendary loot, a new class of gear that comes with its own loot crate, and everyone at the table knows where it is. You want to get your hands on the Vindicator, you're gonna have to fight for it. But the clock tower and the Vindicator, you won't see these anywhere else. This is your one shot to claim them. So what'll it be? You gonna stand tall, or fall to the dust like the rest? Against the clock, only the best will make it out alive. Just remember, partner, time waits for no one. Get ready for the fight of your life. Put your pledge on Against the Clock today.
Yee-haw-hoo-dee! We're here. We're finally live. It only took 7 minutes of videos, but here we are. Hey, everybody. I'm Dwight Cenac. I'm the creator of High Noon and High Noon Against the Clock and our wonderful campaign, which we are sitting handsomely at about $28,000. We're about 70% of the way to our funding goal. And I want to start doing these regular live streams. I don't know if we're going to have time to or if I'm going to have an ability to schedule these regularly, but just know that I'm just going to start doing them. I'm just going to start jumping in live. Now, I do have, my browser says I have 1 bar of signal. So I just want to make sure that the tubes are working. So let me know if you hear me loud and clear, if you could, and make sure that the audio is clear and we're coming in nice and hot. Hey, Ben. Hey, listen, Benjamin, I saw your message. I'm going to check your file and I'll get back to you. I promise. All right. We hear your dulcet tones and we are laggy. Okay. Looks like we might be better because the bar went away. So hopefully that worked. Hopefully it's not still laggy. All right. So anyway, quick introduction. Like I said, I'm Dwight. I'm the creator of High Noon. I'm here to talk to you guys. And I want to go over some stuff about the game and the campaign and our progress. And I have some funny numbers that I want to share because I had a conversation with somebody last night, and it's been an ongoing conversation. And I want to address it. I gotta get it off my chest. So was a little laggy at first, but it's good. Woohoo! Yeehaw! All right. So High Noon, for those of you who don't know and have not backed the campaign, and by the way, everybody who's watching this you might be backers, you might be super fans. I don't know. Put your hand up if you're a super fan. Don't do that. But this will be recorded. It's going to be watched by everybody. So this is for you, and it's also for people who might be watching later. But High Noon it's poker meets chess in the Wild West. And even though it has no dice, you'll never play the same game twice. So it's chess in that You have guys, I have guys, everybody's got guys, and they're all unique, and they all have special moves and abilities, whatever, and they're all moving on a grid. They just happen to look like cowboys. It's poker because there's no dice. It's all in your cards. It's all in a deck of cards that's unique to your posse. This deck speaks to who your posse is. What are their mannerisms? What is their combat style? So every posse deck is different. Okay, and I don't know what I have, and you don't know what you have until it's time to play. Until it's time to throw that card at somebody, and then that's an attack, and then they can decide if they want to defend, and you don't know if they can defend or not. It's all about poker faces at that point. Poker face. But that's the name of the game. The name of the game is gold. And you get gold by dealing damage or eliminating characters on your turn. So, or dealing damage on your turn or eliminating characters at any time. That's how you get gold, and that's how you win. So the spirit of the game is hurt the ones you love, and while they're bleeding out and crying on the floor, you laugh at them and insult them in Western slang. That's the game. That's high noon. It's a fun game. It's a fun little skirmish game. And we did a Kickstarter back in 2021, we got funded. And I had actually produced the starter sets ahead of time. There's a long story about that. But I wanted to make sure that people got their games. I didn't want to be a campaign where people, pledged and then waited a year or 2 years or 5 years or whatever to get anything, right? I wanted to get them something. And so I'd already had the starter sets. So I shipped out starter sets to everybody pretty much immediately. It was like a couple months later because they were on a boat at the time. And the boat had to arrive. But they got their games within 6 months. They got their starter set. They pledged the campaign. And within 6 months, they had the starter set, which was up to 4 players. And they got it. They got it before Christmas. So it was a Christmas gift. And then we went into production on the expansions. Now, we ran into a huge problem because that was 2021. That was in the heat of everything that happened because of COVID. You had a container shortage, massive container shortage that spiked the prices of the containers up. We had over budgeted our containers. I had budgeted my price for a container at $8,000, which was twice what I've ever paid for a container to bring something in from overseas. But by the time the container shortage damage happened, we were looking at $14,000, I think, just for the container. So that was more than I had budgeted, which had to come from somewhere. So that came from me. And then the stuff arrived. And by the time, and then on its way over here, you had that idiot who was parking his giant boat in the Suez Canal for no reason, just because we were on a boat behind him. That's why he did it. And so that not only did that delay the delivery of the container, but by the time the container arrived, U.S. Customs and Imports had changed the law. Like literally the day before the container arrived, they changed how they build imports, and it spiked the price of importing up. Like it was like 75%. So we were paying almost double. Well, again, what we budgeted for importing had to come from somewhere, came from right here. And then, ouch. And then when the stuff got in, we were not notified of this. And this took forever because, like, you think we had it bad, okay? Like, you had a lot of states shutting down. Florida, I'm Florida man, okay? We didn't shut down. Like, our life was fine. I'm sorry for anybody else out there who had to, like, stay at home and isolate themselves and live in a plastic tent inside their bedroom. That wasn't us, but, like, we know how bad it was for certain states in the United States. But in China, which is where we produced our games, okay? We made in China. Their factories were shut down. They would open up for 2 days, and then the government would shut them down for 3 weeks, and then allow them to open up for another 2 days, and then shut them down. And so what should have, and they did this forever, what should have taken 90 days, basically 3 months to produce everything, ended up taking a year and a half because of the bureaucratic regulations and delays that were being put upon the factories. And this was not an excuse from the factories. Like, I have friends who live over there who do other things and other businesses. I was speaking to them regularly, and they were telling me they were experiencing the same thing. So we experienced those delays, and unfortunately, that meant the backers had to wait. But then when everything finally came over, the expansions, okay, all that other costs I was talking about, that was like when all that stuff finally arrived, because I think the Suez, and forgive me because this was a long time ago, the starter sets were affected by the Suez Canal and the import and the container crisis. By the time the expansions arrived, containers weren't hard to come by anymore, but all the stuff got to us or got to the port, and customs decided to hold our product in a warehouse, a customs warehouse, which is a private warehouse. It's owned by a private company inside the port. This is how this all works, guys. So there's these warehouses, there's these receiving warehouses in the ports. They're owned by a private company. And that's where things are held for inspection or for whatever. So customs decided to hold our product because, shame on me, the back of the box, on some of them didn't say made in China. And the reason why was because when I did the designs, I do all this stuff myself, I was moving the barcode around and I accidentally put the barcode on. I at the last minute, I readjusted the barcode and I forgot to move the made in China sign over. So it's image-wise, it's buried under the layer that the barcode is. So they wanted me to affix a label that said, you had to have a label. I had to put a label that said made in China on every single box. Yeah, I remember those updates. Yeah, I didn't hide this. So the thing was like they wanted me to pay the warehouse to do it. Now we're talking thousands. I think it was like, I think I have like 10,000 units, and they wanted to charge me, this factory wanted to charge me $5 a label to put a sticker, $5 to put a sticker on a box, per box. And I didn't have that. And I told him, I was like, okay, well, it's either, I mean, I can come do it myself at the warehouse, but I can't afford this. So you're basically telling me that we're gonna have to destroy all this product, because that's what they were saying. They're like, well, if you can't do it, we're just gonna have to burn it all. Like, why? Why? It's a sticker. It's a stupid thing. Everybody knows it's coming from China. Everybody knows everything's made. What are you talking about? Anyway, so after some negotiations between my freight forwarder and them, they agreed, and I had worked out with my fulfillment partner at the time, who was in Atlanta. They were bonded. They were certified with customs, whatever. They were covered. And so we were like, look, we have a bonded warehouse. Could we have the stuff dropped off there? We'll put all the labels on it. We'll allow you to come inspect it and make sure everything's fine. And then can we release at that point? And they're like, and they reluctantly allowed us to do that. And thank you to our, at the time, fulfillment partner for allowing us to do that. But we're still facing, in order to do that, we had to get the product released to go there, which meant we had to pay the warehouse for the storage. Well, nobody had told us. Like, we didn't know that this was all happening. Customs didn't alert us to this issue until a month after. So we were like, where's our product? Like, we were told it landed. Where is it? And Customs wasn't giving us an update until a month later, when they're like, oh yeah, it's been sitting in this warehouse for a month. And so the warehouse charged us $10,000 for a month of storage that we didn't even know was being stored. This is the wonderful world of importing, exporting, by the way, guys. This is bureaucracy. It's a racket. They do this on purpose because they got you by the cojones. Like, they know that they can charge this, and they know how they can charge it, and they know that this is how they do. Like, there's no reason, there's no safety concern, there's no like world-ending disaster that will happen if it doesn't say a thing, if the sticker's not on the box. This is all about money to the government and money to the racketeering, to the cartels. But it is the game we must all play in the game industry. So I had to come up with 10 grand, another 10 grand to pay to get that released. Again, I didn't pass any of these costs on to my backers. All right, I did not pull a Mythic Games. Okay, I didn't pull a Come On. I didn't pull anything else, because that's not who we are at High Noon. I ate the cost. This was on me. This was my mistake. So I paid for it. And me and my fiance went to the warehouse. Like, we drove to Atlanta, which is 6 hours away, and stayed there for 4 days, working night and day, over like 24-hour days in their warehouse, putting labels on and then taking videos of this and sending it to the customs people until they finally released all the goods, and I was able to get everything to everybody. And so that, I mean, all that to say, we did all that, and we got everything to everybody. I mean, there's a couple of backers who I get messages from every once in a while, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't get my pledge," and that's, I'm gonna say, like that's not on me. that was our fulfillment partner. Thank you for allowing us to do the thing, but you also dropped the ball majorly on over 100 backers, which I had to then. There's another thing. After the fulfillment was done, we found out that there was over 100 backers who just didn't get their stuff. This just was not fulfilled by the fulfillment partner. So I had to go and like pull from my personal inventory and pay for the product to be shipped on my dime. And again, this is all cost that I didn't pass on to the backers. I just wanted to make sure they all got their stuff. So we got the stuff to everybody. But now we're facing a ton of, debt effectively, money that like we incurred a ton of financial burdens to do this. And, we want to keep High Noon going. And that's really primarily the purpose for this campaign is we have a certain target we have to hit to get to the black. And from there, the sky's the limit. We can start growing organically. But I didn't want to do a campaign to be like, hey, give me money, guys, for nothing. So that's why I came up with certain expansions. I know there's been some demand for certain expansions to come out, and they're on the roadmap. But in order to be able to run a campaign where we can cover the cost that we'd taken a hit from the past, and give you something in return for that, something of value, this is what I got. This is the offering. It's it's the Purgatory tiles. It's this clock tower, this super exclusive clock tower, the 3D buildings, these and some expansions and stuff. And then all of the product that we have in existence right now for a tremendous discount. That's what I can give you. This is my way of saying, hey, thanks for helping me out and climbing out of this hole that I dug myself in to make sure I got everything. And so that is the campaign. I wanted to start this whole conversation with explaining the spirit of the campaign, and here we are 22 minutes later. So before I go forward, I want to jump into some of these comments. So as someone who had 20 to 50 campaigns during the issue, can confirm High Noon was awesome. Woohoo! That's what I'm talking about. That's what's up. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Or sister, I forget. The fact is, delays are part of projects. It's about communication. That is all that matters, and your communication has been amazing. I try, and that's the thing is, like, I want part of High Noon that I want to set different from other companies and other publishers. And I don't want to, like, actually, here's the thing. I don't want to be like, I'm like better than everybody. What I want to do is I want to start setting the bar, the standard, the expectation. I want backers to really feel what's actually possible, like with zero excuses. Like, I want you to see that there's no excuse for a campaign or a publisher or anybody to just ice you, to just go cold turkey on communication and to pass the buck onto you. There's no excuse for that. Do not accept that. Okay. If I can do it and I'm a nobody, okay, I'm a nobody. I'm just a guy in a cowboy hat who's balding. Okay. That's it for me. I have an idea for a game. You guys made it possible. Here I am. Okay. If I can do this and communicate regularly with you guys and make good on my commitments to you, it might be a little later, but it's going to be good. I'm going to make good on my commitments. Then so can multi-million-dollar campaigns. So can billion-dollar publishers. Okay. There's no excuse for a publisher to disrespect or abuse you as a backer who has made their product possible. None whatsoever. So that's all I'm trying to do here, is set a bar, a standard that you can see and that they can see. So hopefully they will start acting appropriately. Hopefully these companies will stop, raking you guys over the coals and taking advantage of you. That's my objective. Okay. And it might be lofty. It might never happen. I may be the only one of the very few. And there may be no other publishers that come out besides me and whoever else is doing this. But if that's the case, worst case scenario, at least you got us. But that's the plan. I mean, that's the whole point. That's what I'm trying to do here. Howdy Meeps. Howdy Paul. Yep, got burned by Mythic Games. High Noon has been a decent campaign, but very rare that they don't hit a few problems. Yeah, I mean, we're going to hit them, and we're going to make mistakes. And I made a bunch of mistakes. Okay, and I own up to that, I've committed myself to fixing those mistakes. And that's something, again, that we're going to talk about in this conversation. I'm still waiting on campaigns from other people that I back prior to. Wow. Love the introduction of height. That's what caught my eye. Yeah, elevation is fun. And when I brought in the Bandero Blondes, who are right there, they introduce elevation to the game, and they come with a balcony to actually do elevation stuff. But the balcony is like in the back of their building, and it like inside, and the only ways you can take advantage of it is like some windows on either side of it. So I really wanted to start introducing more opportunities to use that mechanic. But there was a reason why I did that too, is because I wanted to. I drip modifications into the game so that you can get accustomed to it, acclimated to it before we go nuts, right? Before we go crazy. Here to turn Ireland into heck yeah, there we go. I was about to do my bad Ireland impression, but I will save you. I'll save you from that. Highly appreciate the honesty. Major green flag. Happy to contribute and support. High Noon has been great so far. Even some friends to look up the current campaign. Awesome. That's what we're here for. So just want to confirm that all-in backers will be getting the expansion in the new. Yes, I'm glad this question has come up. Yes, the answer is yes. My gosh, my dog is running around with noise attached. Yeah, so that's so yes to your answer. Yes, all in backers, ride or die. I'm talking. Wait, and just to confirm that all in backers will be getting the expansion in the new backer kit. Okay, the answer is yes either way. If we're talking about the ride or die backers, yes, and if we're talking about the all in backers, yes. All in on this pledge, and this is something we're going to talk about today. Is the all in pledge today? Okay. But all in is you are getting everything that we like, the rewards and the unlocks. If we unlock anything, you're getting it. If we get and you get the rewards as well as the sign. Kitchen stove, baby. That's what's up. Everything but the kitchen stove. All right. So I've been having this conversation with somebody because we're talking about making mistakes, right? We mentioned making mistakes. I made a plethora of mistakes. And one of those mistakes in the original game was that I had the loot. I made the High Noon starter set with my factory, with my primary factory, and I did it ahead of time. Like I said, I did that when I canceled the first campaign, and I had a little bit of left from the war chest, so I put that into producing the games. Because again, I've said this before in another live stream. I had a company at that time. High Noon Game Inc. existed. I had people involved, and I couldn't afford to have us with nothing. Like, we had to have at least something. So I wanted to have at least product. So I produced the High Noon starter set, which is right behind me. I produced 5,000 copies of that as it stood, like the state of that game. I went forward with it and got it produced. Then when we went into production on the expansions, like 2 years later, I had my factory produce the packaging, the minis, the tiles, and I had another factory produce the cards because their price point was better. And I knew that from other paper products that I had been doing, and they produced good quality stuff. So I was like, hey, here's the design. I need you to make these decks of cards. So all the posse decks, all the expansion posse decks, and the expansion loot was produced by this other factory. And when I saw the cards, like, they looked solid. They were top quality, and they sent me a sample of each deck, and I looked and I compared them all to everything, and everything was fine. Well, I don't know what happened, and I should have been there. But prices to get to China at that point were astronomically insane. I wouldn't have been able to afford it, but I should have found a way. But when the product actually arrived, I started getting reviews from people in the group that were like, hey, the expansion loot is a different size from the regular loot. It's a little bit smaller. And I'm like, what? And so I looked, and sure enough, the expansion loot is slightly smaller than the loot that comes in the starter set. And it results in, if you took the deck of expansion loot and you put it on top of the deck with the starter set loot, you see it's almost like a pyramid. Okay, you see the level difference. Fortunately, when you shuffle the cards into the deck, it's not really like, you can't really tell. Like you're playing the game. There's a lot of things going on. You're drawing cards. Like it's not an obvious thing at that point, but initially it's pretty jarring. And I don't like that. I don't like that as much as the next guy. And so my plan is to fix that. I have to go and reprint my plan is to reprint the starter set loot, not the expansion loot. Because I really, at some point, I want to do a reprint of the starter set with, but like do like a remastered version, right? Like at some point in the future. So my plan was to do a reprint of the loot cards and also give an update to them, give like apply the errata, because there's some the other issue that was a review of some people is that some things just aren't so clear. It leaves a lot of questions, like how does the coffee beans work? How does this work? And so I made an errata, and it's on the website. Like if you go to the High Noon website, you'll see an errata where the cards are, and I'm constantly updating these things. So like if there's ever a question, you can always go on to the website and see, what is this card? How is it actually supposed to be played? What is it actually supposed to say? Whatever. Well, I want to actually do a reprint of that, and that's why it's in the stretch goal on the campaign. But there have been some complaints from some people about the state of the starter set. And I understand, because again, I made the starter set basically, it'd be like 2.5 years before I made all the expansions. And by that point, a lot of things had happened. Like my artists had gotten so much better at what they were doing. Like my 3D artist got better at his craft. My 2D artist got better at his craft. My map artist got better at his craft. So like everybody was better. And so at that point I was like, you know what? I want to give like these expansions, I want to give them a facelift. So all the artwork, by the time the expansions came out, all the artwork was updated. And the tiles, even the tiles themselves, I was like, I'm not really happy with the artwork of the tiles. Like it worked in the past, it's playable, but I really want to bring this to the next level, especially since my artist was so much better. And so that's why the expansion tiles look different from the starter set tiles. And that's why I created the starter set upgrade pack to bring everything aesthetically together. You don't have to have it. You can play the expansions with the tiles that come with the starter set, but that's what I wanted them to be aesthetically pleasing. Now going back to that, like the reason why, and some people are like, well, like some people aren't happy about it, and they're not happy about I don't know. Everybody's got a critique about the game. And at the end of the day, all I can say is like I guess I come from a different generation of gamers. Like I came from a generation of gamers where it's not about the assets. It's not about the little thingy on the board. It's not about the table like the table presence is cool and important, but it's really about the game. Is the game fun? And I remember when we first launched this Kickstarter, there's a lot of these like huge games, like people talking about them, right? Like a lot of like these, like, I don't know. How do I put this? I don't know who made Risk, right? I don't know who the creator was. I'm sure we could Google it. We could Wikipedia it. I don't care. It's not the point. If we think about Risk, we think about Risk, right? It's a game called Risk. And that whoever made the game of Risk is like, they didn't go out there to make themselves a celebrity. They just made a game, sold it to a company, and the company published it, and it's become like common parlance, right? Like Axis and Allies. Like we look at Axis and Allies, we look at, and again, I'm speaking from my generation. These are the games that I played. Even Dungeons and Dragons, you had this like huge following and movement or whatever, but like in my game group, we might talk about Monty Cook. Okay, we might talk about Gary Gygax, but we're actually just playing the game. And we're happy that these people existed, and we would love to meet them, but it's like, it's not a celebrity thing. I'm not playing Dungeons and Dragons because, Gary Gygax made it. I'm playing Dungeons and Dragons because it's a cool game. I'm playing Axis and Allies because I like the game. But today, and it's been happening for a couple of years, this industry has gotten really weird. Like it's not about the game. It's about the personality person behind it. Some some person who has a very lofty opinion of themselves and has a group of sycophants around them that are large. Some of them are influencers, some of them are, you know, people in the convention space, whatever, but they're all sycophant followers of these people, and they worship the ground they walk on. And so the person will come out, oh, I got this game. It's like, oh, that person made a game, I'm gonna go get it. It's like, well, is it good? Well, it's, look at the artwork, look at the minis, look at the pieces. And it's like, but is the game good? Like, is the game itself good? And a lot of times there's these games that are just, they're not games. They're just convoluted rule set things to justify selling the pieces. And it's the game pieces, it's the board artwork, it's the box artwork, and then it's the personality person behind it who made it. And then those are the things that are driving attention and awareness to those products and people to buy them. That's not, I don't understand that area. Like, I don't exist there. That's not, I like, that's not a market for me because I can't wrap my head around it. So all this to say, like, there are people who complain about the assets in the game in High Noon. And I agree. Like, I agree they're not perfect. I agree that I would love to make them better. I got to make money in order to make them better. I got to sell units to make it better. So let's talk about the game. Is the game fun? Is the game good? And by and large, the reviews from people who play it is, yeah, this game's awesome. And most of the people who say that don't really care about these aesthetically the vanity of the game. Okay, I know I don't know. Maybe I'm blabbing. I don't know. Maybe I'm putting my foot in my mouth. Maybe I'm shooting my campaign in the face. I don't know. But like, there's been some conversation. Some people have come to me about this particular topic, about the aesthetics of the game, about the vanity of the game. And their opinion is that the vanity of the game, it has affected their perception of the value of the game. And that's what I want to talk about. I want to start 37 minutes into this conversation. I want to start this part of the conversation about the game, the value of the game, and the value of the campaign by talking about that. Like, where does High Noon draw its value? Because if I were to take them at their word, they're right. Like, I don't have an IP behind me that is like well established. You know, I bought Dune Imperium, which I believe is like one of the best games in the world ever. And I bought it because I wanted a game that had Dune. I like Dune. I like the movie Dune. I like both versions, by the way. Okay. But I wanted to play a game of Dune with some friends before we went to go see the movie Dune. That was the game that was in front of me. It just happened to be an awesome game, but I bought it because of the IP, right? And and Kaman has Zombicide, and everybody knows what Zombicide is. Like, you know that when you buy a Zombicide game, you're getting a Zombicide game, right? Like, you go to McDonald's, it's not that McDonald's makes amazing hamburgers. You just know that every time you order a Big Mac, it's going to taste exactly like the Big Mac should taste. And so, like, Kaman has they've handled the stranger danger. You know, when you buy a Zombicide game, you're going to get a Zombicide game, and you have an expectation for that. Well, High Noon doesn't have that. It doesn't have an IP that's attached to it. It doesn't have like it doesn't have that familiarity to it. Isn't that why you never go to me? I have no shame. I go to McDonald's and Taco Bell, sometimes at the same time, sometimes right after the other. Let's see. I bought it because it looked like Star Wars Epic Duels, but Wild West. Basically, yeah, that was. And I tell people, like, Epic Duels is a huge inspiration for me. But actually, by the time that we released High Noon, if you recall, Outmatched came out, and Outmatched was, I think, Renegade or whatever, or whoever it was, and they're bringing this game out, and they made their name, their fame was in bringing back out of print games. And so I remember when Outmatched. Because it was the same. It was like at the same time they ran a campaign as ours, and it like sucked the air out of our awareness. We still crushed our goals, but they took all the attention because there was like, oh, it's Epic Duels, it's Epic Duels. No, it's not. It's not. Outmatch is not Epic Duels. If you've ever played Epic Duels, you know Outmatch is not Epic Duels. And so, but you know, kudos to them because it is a cool concept. You pitting these various characters against each other. And then the only thing I would say to that, to comparison to Outmatched and High Noon, because they were saying like that was the whole point of it, is that it's reviving Epic Duels, and it did not do that. But the thing that would make it different from us is that we actually can expand players, where I think their maximum is 4. They may have changed it now, but yeah, I mean that was our objective, was to bring that back. So hello, High Plains Drifter. Howdy do, Ms. Cheryl. By both, do you sci-fi miniseries? Do you sci-fi miniseries and the remake? Oh yeah, okay, yes. I mean, and you know, and we want to do a high orbit and a high moon at some point. High tech, isn't that way? Okay, yeah, we did that. Let's see. Hear what you were saying. The game is a good starting point, but liking the way it is developing with all the posses and the 3D buildings is great. Also love the clock tower and as building a timer. Yeah, and I understand the importance of aesthetic. I want to do a better aesthetic for the game. So, you know, we are going to start making things beautiful in High Noon. That is a plan. Really looking forward to if you can turn into a full RPG. We can, Richard. As a matter of fact, I talked about this in a previous live stream. We have an RPG, a full RPG module that converts the entire game into a role-playing game. And I wonder if I have, you know what, I'll find it, because I have a little video advertisement of that, because somebody was asking about that. As a matter of fact, let me see here. Let me pull this up just for you, because people have asked, and I want to show people I'm not BSing here. Though it may take, because it's never where I need it to be when I'm looking for it. I'll show it if I can't find it here. I will show it in another video, I assure you. Okay, yeah, because I can't find it here, but I do have a little video that kind of shows what the RPG is and how it works. We play tested for like 3 or 4 months, and it was a blast. And it converts the whole game into a role-playing game. Dude, the IP for your game is your enthusiasm and good nature is what you mean. Thank you, Ian. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Sorry, Dune, you said both, and I was just trying to call out the sci-fi miniseries, which I enjoy. Oh, yeah. You know what? Actually, I've never seen the miniseries, and I've been meaning to, because I've heard good things about it. But anyway, okay, so perception of value. Okay, High Noon. If you're going, and this is I'm going to be talking to, you know, the new backer, the backer who's looking at this game, or the new customer who's looking for our game to buy. If you are looking for if you're looking for a beautiful game with, you know, $1 billion minis, that's not High Noon. High Noon has some really cool minis. And I think the artwork is fine. I think it looks good. I love the artwork, but I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna like bloat myself. I don't like. High Noon doesn't hold a candle to some of these published games out there that have prioritized artwork over gameplay. We just won't be there. We're just not that. We're High, and it certainly doesn't. If you're looking at and to this point about the IP, this is exactly it. If you're looking for a recognizable IP, and that's where you ascertain your value. I don't have that either. What I do have for an IP is this. This is my IP. If you want a recognizable, if you go to the store and you're like, I don't care about gameplay, I don't care about I just care about recognizable name, then go somewhere. I wish you'd come to me, because the more of you that come to me, the more that name will be recognizable. But if that's all you do, then I'm not your game, right? I'm just not. But if what you want is a super fun game that you will never experience twice, from a publisher who actually cares about you, like prioritizes you over everything else, then I'm your game. I've proven that. I stand by that. That's what I will always be. But let's talk about the value of the game, because that's really, like I told him, I was like, look, I don't care about I don't care about the prettiness. That is not where this game's value is. So I did a calculation, because what I stand by is you will never. I mean, I built it into my mantra, right? It has no dice, but you'll never play the same game twice. You will never play the same game twice. I can mathematically prove this to you with just the starter set, just that thing, okay? Just the starter set, the 4-player starter set. You could just do the starter set, and you will never play the same game of High Noon twice with just the starter set. It will always be a completely different game. And I did this. I ran the numbers on this to prove it, okay? So the first thing I want to do is I want to bring over the original Kickstarter. So what we're going to look at here is this is the Kickstarter that we ran in 2021. And this is the starter set that comes in the Kickstarter, okay? And what you get in the starter set is, and this is what's available right now, currently for $57, and on the new Pilgrim Pledge. If you haven't seen it and you've been trying to figure something out for what to do, you can how to pledge in our new campaign. If you've never played the game, I put it up there. It's $57. Okay, it's the cheapest you're ever going to get High Noon from me, and that will allow you access to the add-ons, and it'll help you support the cause. So in the starter set, you get a map of the. This is the map of Saratoga. This will kind of introduce you to where landmarks are, and also where certain posses come from. And it's building the universe, right? But let's go to the game. So you're going to get 12 game tiles, okay? 12 game tiles that look like this, okay? I'm gonna bring this up here. You don't need to see my face. So, and let me zoom in. All right. So you're going to get these 12 tiles that look kind of like this, okay? And this, to me, was good enough for me. Why? Because I grew up with old school Gary Gygax Dungeons and Dragons. Like this is kind of how we played games. I'm just an old school gamer. So here we have the tiles. Now you have to, if you play the game, your posses have to have a starting tile. So these posses come with these. These are your starting tiles right here. They will always be used in the game. Okay. Then you have these other tiles, 4 6x6 tiles and 4 2x6 tiles. Okay. And so you can choose to combine these into your map, or you could just play with the starter set tiles, if that's what you want to do. But let's go to the numbers on this. Okay. If we just go to the numbers on just the tiles, how many different ways, I wanted to know how many different ways it was possible to just arrange the map. And what I found was, we already know the easy computation. If you're just doing the starter set tiles, you're looking at 24 combinations, 24 different ways the map can be. But if you rotate them, because you can rotate the tiles in any direction and then organize them. And when you do that, you're looking at 256 possible ways that you could have a map of High Noon with just the 4 tiles. Now, if you bring in all of the tiles, I'm sorry, if you take that and you combine and you mix that up with which posse tiles you can put in, you're looking at 6,144 different ways that you can just play with the 4 starter set tiles. We're not even talking about the other tiles. There are 6,144 different maps just right here. Just right here. Okay? But if we brought in the other tiles and we did rotations of those, you're looking at, if you played we haven't even gotten to the posses or the loot crates, okay? Just that alone, just the tiles alone, the amount of variations of maps that can be created with just the High Noon starter set is 2,646,144,000 combinations of maps in the starter set. When I say you'll never play the same game twice, I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. Now that's that, okay? Then we come to the posse selection, okay? You have 4 posses, and you can choose to match them across any way that you wish. You could have all 4 of them on the board. You could have 2 of them on the board. You could have 3 of them on the board or whatever. Okay. But when you take in all the possible combinations of that, you're looking at 11 different scenarios of combinations. Okay. Now, then we have loot crate placement. Now, loot crate placement can go bananas because there's rules to the loot. You have what we come with is you get 18 loot crates in the starter set. That's what these guys are. And those are little crates that you put on the board, and your little guys can run up to them and they can grab loot out of where are they? Out of these decks here. And they'll come with all sorts of weapons and ammunition and armor and power-ups, whatever. And you don't know what you're going to get out of the loot crate because you draw from each deck based on what kind of loot crate it is. You draw 3 cards and you choose 1, and the decks are always shuffled. And you don't know what loot crates you're placing because you place them upside down. You draw them blind, so you don't know what crates you have in possession, and then you place them blind, so you don't know what crates you're placing until they're all placed, and then you flip them over and you realize what they are, and then you run after them, and then you loot them in the hopes that you get something, and you don't even know what you're going to get. So there are 18 loot crates. Now, I could go bananas on the total number of loot crates here, but there's rules on how many can be placed and where they can be placed. And based on what's going to be placed where is going to affect where future crates can be placed. So you start running out of options on where they can be placed, but it's always going to be randomized because you don't know where the other player is going to place their crate, which is going to affect where you can place your crate, that they don't know where you're going to place yours until you place it, and then they have to place theirs, and you start running out of places. So what I did was I said, okay, well, what if there were just 8? What if there were just 8 loot crates on the board? Everybody starts with 1. That's what the green square is. But if you just added 1 plus 1 for, an additional 1. So there's 8 crates for a 4-player game. We don't know what they are, so they're drawn randomly. You're looking at a possible variation, 43,758 different scenarios of different crates that you would be drawing. Now let's talk about the loot cards. There are 34 loot cards in each deck. Okay, 34 loot cards in each deck. And you draw and you draw 3 every time. Like when you loot it, you draw 3 cards from it and you choose 1. That means that there are 5,984 ways that you can draw from these decks. There's 8 crates. There's these many ways that you can draw. So the total number of ways to draw and choose loot cards across all crates is basically 5,984 to the 8th power, or 2.82 times 10 to the 27th power of combinations. I don't even know what that number is. I don't even know what that number is. Now, when we add all this together, we combine everything together, the amount of ways that you can play High Noon, just the starter set, for $57, okay? $57, because somebody was like, well, have you ever played Root? Root is cheaper than your game. It's like Root has wooden tokens. Root has cardboard. I'm sure Root is a fun game, but it's going to be Root every time. I play Dune. I love playing Dune. I play Dune all the time. I have it on both of my phones. I play it when I'm not playing the board game. I'm playing the mobile game. I'm about to buy it on Steam. I can play with my friends on Steam. I love Dune, but it's always Dune. It will always be the same game. It's a great game. It never gets old for me, but it's always the same exact game. You're going for the same stuff. You're doing the same thing. There's different ways that you can draw the cards, but it's more or less the same exact game. Now, fortunately, it's like $50. It's like $7 cheaper than mine, but it also has no minis whatsoever. Now, I'm going to buy the upgrade, the vanity pack minis, which is going to be another, $40-$50. And then I want the X expansion, which is another, $30. I want the other expansion. Every expansion is like $50. My expansions are 20, 25, maybe 30. But with just the $57 game of High Noon, the amount of different ways that you can play High Noon, different ways that you will experience High Noon, is 2.206 unquinquadragentillion ways. I didn't make that word up. I found out, I discovered that word. It's 2.206 times 10 to the 46th power. 2.206 unquinquadragentillion ways to play High Noon for $57. $57. That's a steal. It's a bargain. Don't come at me and tell me that that my game is overpriced. Can you name another game that you can play? There's so many variations of ways that you can play that the word literally makes no sense and is used once in your entire life. If you're lucky. I mean, like that, it's insane. The value of High Noon, the value of the starter set is a no-brainer to anybody who values games based on the replayability, the amount of times that you can play the game and you will never play the same game twice. That's what High Noon is about. So, I stand by the value of my game. I stand by the value of everything in this campaign. And I say this because there was the request was, well, you should sell it for cheaper because people don't think it's valuable. Well, I'm sorry, I have a firm belief, and they accuse me of being stubborn, and they're right. I am stubborn. I have a principle. You don't lower your target, and you don't devalue your product. I'm not going to devalue High Noon. I'm not going to devalue my product. I can't. My spirit won't let me. You paid £89 last Christmas for Ticket to Ride Legacy, which is only 12 games. Good Lord. I played Ticket to Ride once. It was okay. It's Go Fish, or it's Match the Colors. It's a Match the Colors game. It's cute. It's fun. It's a good little family game. Anyone who complains about price isn't a gamer or is detached. Well, your words, not mine. Any upgrade that I would like would add a ton more cost and isn't worth it for the entry fee. The game is fun, has expandability, which I love, and options to upgrade later. Yeah, exactly. That's the point. Now, I can't devalue my game because it goes against everything I stand for. And I'm not going to. But I've been thinking a lot. Because let me share this here. Let me share this screen here. I'm going to share the screen for the campaign. We need to talk about this. So we are sitting at 28,434, 156 backers. And I'll be honest, we've been struggling to get through this. Now, I want to assure you guys, before I continue, because I told this to one of the people because they were like, this could spell the end of the campaign, which will be the end of High Noon. This campaign is not going to define the future of High Noon. The High Noon is not living or dying on this campaign. There's a lot of personal things I'm going through right now. I'm engaged. I talk about my fiance all the time. We're getting married next month. That's going to be a costly endeavor. And then we're building a family. That's a costly endeavor. That's going to be a big thing for me. And I get it. I was told, don't mix personal with business, whatever. I mean, I'll mix whatever the hell I want. I'm going to mix whatever I want into these conversations with you guys. Cause I don't care. I don't care what you think of me. When I talk, this is who I am. This is who you are backing and who you are supporting. The High Noon, I'm High Noon right here. The only way that you can spell the end of High Noon is DWIGHT. That's me. High Noon will die when I say it dies. So if this campaign isn't successful, the campaign's not successful. I'm still going to find a way to produce everything that I want to produce. I'm still going to find a way to bring in Governor McGrady. I'm still going to find a way to bring in the 3D buildings. I won't find a way to bring in the clock tower because that is my word. You only get the clock tower if this campaign is funded. I'll have my clock tower. I've got my prototypes. I got ways to produce it. It'll be for me, but it ain't going to be for you. But I'm going to find ways to produce everything else. The game will continue. The show will go on. this just helps us get there a lot faster. You know, because I do have the looming financial burdens of the last campaign over me. I have to climb out of that before we can officially grow. And I will. I'll do that on my own time if we're not successful in this campaign. But this campaign will make it vastly, like it will springboard us past that objective. If you want High Noon stuff out sooner, the campaign needs to happen. It needs to be successful, right? Like congratulate. Thank you. Thank you. We're really happy. We're serious. Let me see. I have a genuine negative question. What happens to the phase 2 stuff if you don't hit 40K? It happens organically. It happens when it happens. That's what happens. Like I have inventory of all the stuff. That's how I'm going to be able to fulfill almost everything pretty much immediately, right? Like that's another thing about this campaign that sets it apart from everybody else is when you back this at any of these pledge levels, you're going to get these expansions, okay? Those expansions and those expansions and other ones. You're going to get the stuff that we have in stock, and we've got a lot of it, and you're going to get it pretty quick. It's the new stuff, the clock tower and the 3D buildings that'll take some time to produce and then ship out, but you'll get those too. But like you're going to get this stuff pretty much immediately because we have the inventory. If this campaign isn't successful, then we're going to go back to the trade shows where we've been making our sales. We're going to keep going on our website. We're going to keep pushing High Noon product out into the marketplace the way that other publishers do. And as we make money, once we get into profit, okay, once we climb out of debt that way and we get into profit, then we'll start producing expansions. And you may wake up one day and there's a new expansion on the marketplace. The way that things have always were before the advent of crowdfunding. Like that's the hilarious thing. Is like making games and selling games happened first. Like you guys realize, like crowdfunding was something that is new. That's the new thing. But before crowdfunding, it wasn't like there weren't any games. There were loads of games that were produced, and then expansions were made and sold organically. And that's what we will do if this is not successful. That said, I really want this campaign to be successful. Okay, I really want to solve all our problems with this campaign. And in order to do that, we have to hit this goal of 40,000. And in order to do that, we've got to get this number up. Okay, we've got to get about I think we need 80 more backers, basically. Okay, so how do we do that? Well, the first thing I did was I added a new pledge level. Okay, if we go to pledge levels, I added the Pilgrim. No, that's the add-ons. My bad. Here we go. Where is it? Oh no! Where's my pledge levels? Ah! Okay. All right, here we go. Let's go to back it. Okay, here we go. I'll fix that. I'll fix that in post. All right. I added the Pilgrim pledge. Okay. So the Pilgrim pledge, it's $57. You get the starter set, and you're going to get all the rewards in the campaign. Any stretch goal rewards that we have, you're going to get those. So this is a great deal. It's a great deal already, but it's going to be an even better deal after that. Shy of that, you do have the Novelist pledge, which is $30, and it's the game. But let's. I was talking about the game itself. So here's the value: $57, unlimited replay value. So I made that recently. It's available now. Here's another thing that I've been thinking about. I'm not going to devalue the product. I'm not going to knock the price of the game, of the product off the game itself. I'm not going to knock the price off the all-in. I've already told you, I've already committed to you, if you pledge all in and you stay all in at the Maverick or the Legend level, and we reach our funding goal, you're going to get everything that you're going to get all that stuff. And let's say that we don't unlock Governor McGrady on this campaign, but we produce Governor McGrady in the future. You will get Governor McGrady. I will send you Governor McGrady. You'll need to pay the shipping for it, but I'll give them to you as my way of saying thank you. Okay. Here's the next thing I'm going to do. If you pledge all in, okay, and the all in pledge, my goodness, I need to let me pull this up here. I'm going to show this to you because we need to talk about it. Since it's not on the website, shame on me. I will get it on the website. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for bringing this to my attention, myself. This is a special offer for everybody who goes on all in at any level. And I think you're going to like it. Okay. I got to zoom in here. Let me go here. Okay. All right. I'm going to share the screen so we can see it. Share screen, share window. Here we go. Here we go. All right. So you've got two all-in levels, right? You've got the Maverick level at 445, which comes with all this stuff. Comes with all this, and then everything that we unlock, you will get. Okay? So that's the thing. Everything we unlock, you will get. And then if we don't reach Governor McGrady now, whenever we do, I'll give you Governor McGrady. I'll put you on a list for that. If you already have High Noon, $389.50 is the Legend Pledge. Boom, there you go. But here's, on top of that offer, I'm going to give you an additional offer. Anybody who pledges the all-in pledge and stays in, if we get funding, I'm going to give you $100 credit on your pledge manager. Now you can choose. Hang on one second. Okay, sorry about that. There was some noise attached, had to handle it. You can choose what you want to do with that $100. You can choose to get more stuff, add more things to your order, or you can apply it to your pledge. Get $100 off. So if we were doing that, if you wanted to, okay, that brings the Maverick pledge. If you were to just apply the $100 credit, which you will get if you go all in and you stay all in till we're funded. If you do that, you could literally just apply the credit to the Maverick pledge, and you would be getting everything here for $345. Or you could get everything here for $289. I don't know of a better deal. I don't know of a singular better deal on the market right now. So that's my offer to you. That is my way of not devaluing the product, because I stand by the value of my product. But this is what I can do. Okay. So this is what I'm going to do for you. This is what I'm doing for you. In the meantime, I'm going to, yeah, right. It's a crazy value. Like I cannot, now this is it. This is as far as I go, guys. There will be nothing else. Oh, I do want to show you guys. Now, I wanted to show you this because it just came in, but we do have I got an update from the factory. So we unlocked, we are sitting at 156 backers, whatever. We have let's see, we've got, I'm going to say campaign dashboard. Okay. Whoops. Sorry, I was trying to update this thing. I got a video sold upgrading right now. So the difference between Maverick and Legend comes, yes, correct. Yes, the Legend comes without the starter set. We have enough pledges. We have unlocked the first achievement, or what is the second achievement, which is the first player token. And I got a video from the factory. I wanted to show you guys. So here you go. Here is the first player token sample. I will be getting it in about a week. I'm really excited, but check this out. Isn't that cool? I'm so excited for that thing. I didn't even want it. So many other people were asking for it, but we got it made. I'm like, man, that thing's awesome. Yeah. So, oops. Let me go back to here. I'm gonna quickly update the pledge thing because apparently it was not showing, and I'm so glad that I did this. Oops. Let me mute myself here. Mute myself there. You're seeing okay. Let's go. What do I do here? Let's drop it there. I don't know why this didn't go. I put it in there. Kickstarter. And show you what I'm doing, but then you would see behind the curtain. You can't allow that. Paid. Here we are. Pledge levels. I've never had this problem looking for this file either. Okay, here we go. There we go. Done. It's back. It's back, baby. Yeah, I'll show you. Proof. I'll show you my screen. Window. Like, I don't have to see the screen. It's okay, Dwight. No, you have to see it. Here. There it is. There it is. So there it is. Or you can come in here, come at the Maverick or the Legend, get yourself $100 credit. But we have to get funded, guys. We got to get funded. So this is where like I'm gonna keep doing these live streams where I can talk to you guys and connect and stuff. And we can get the word out. People can get to know me and get to know High Noon. We can do live plays. You can come into the Discord. We'll be doing some live streams for games and stuff. But at the end of the day, there's only so much I can do. The industry is very cliquish. And if you're not in it, if you're not in the clique, you don't get the exposure. Like High Noon, for all the love it has gotten from the people who play it, and the people who have seen what we did, the mental or the physical gymnastics of backbreaking that we did to make sure that we made good on our commitments at no cost to the backers. They don't care. They do not care. We are not part of their club. We do not get the exposure. We're not, we're just not. So we need it's boots on the ground. It's you guys. I'm going to do everything I can, but spread the word. Let people know that there is a game company out there. There's a creator publisher out there who actually cares about their customers, who actually cares about their players and is always here for them, who has a campaign out right now that is awesome with a deal that cannot be beat. Let them know, because that's how we do it. Let's see. You'll have to correct, though. We don't need no stinking first player token. I know. I mean, we don't. We still don't need it. You don't need it. Oh, man. I'm confident in you. In 5 years, we'll all be playing high seas. Yes, yard. We'll be playing high seas with the cards. I'm looking forward to that one. That one's going to be fun. Yeah, actually, I there's a new rule book going to be up. The fourth draft of the rule book will be up today. I pushed up the fourth draft, and I left out one of the pages, so I have to fix that, compress it down, and then get it uploaded. But the official fourth draft of the rule book will be live today in a couple hours, and I'm really excited about that, because that's been something that has been on my plate to handle, and I had a lot of help from members of the community in getting it done and auditing it, rewording it so it's more clear, it's easier to understand. So look forward to that. But no, I don't know if I even we might have gotten rid of that. We might have gotten rid of that of that reference. I don't know. Anyway, that's it. That's it for the update, guys. I encourage you to get in there and bump your pledges up. Move over to the Maverick or the Legend if you haven't, because the value is there. And then tell your friends, spread the word, get it out there that we got this amazing deal, and that we're here just trying to make a difference in this industry. And there you go. Thank you guys for jumping in, and I will see you on another live stream here shortly. Until then.
Saratoga, the great state, land of opportunity, just words on paper. Out here, the land don't give nothing for free. Ain't no justice you can count on, only a struggle between the desperate and the crooked, between the gun and the badge. This land's been torn apart by outlaws and governments that don't know what side they're on. The blood-soaked ground, It's seen its share of bandits and killers, both with their own way of claiming power. But now, there's something new on the horizon. Something darker, more dangerous. When you hear that bell tower, you'll know it's high noon. High noon ain't just a game, it's a battle for survival. With modular tiles, every map can be what you make it. Characters have designated spaces, so loading up your posse is just a matter of seconds. Card-based combat is quick and simple, and that's just what you'll need, because time is running out. With Against the Clock, you're facing brand new territories, new challenges, and all new ways to outsmart your enemies. First, there's Purgatory, a ghost town left to rot. But in High Noon, it's your new battleground. 13 tiles to change the face of the game. Dusty roads, debris scatter in the streets, and empty, hollow buildings to hide in or die in. And then there's the big prize, a 2-story ruin, letting you take the high ground, shooting from that balcony while your enemies scramble below. You can add these tiles to your maps or build your own ghost town from scratch. Whatever you choose, Purgatory's where the real fight begins. But we ain't just talking tiles. We're bringing something new to the table. Literally. 3D buildings, the bank and the jail, they rise up from the board and add a whole new dimension to your fight. Use them to replace the tiles from your starter set, or add them to make the fight more dangerous, more intense. And then, there's the clock tower, the centerpiece of this campaign. It's got 2 levels of elevation, perfect for the kind of strategy that wins shootouts. Ladders let your characters climb higher and higher, getting the advantage on anyone below. But the clock tower ain't just for looks. It's a game changer, a functional round counter for all 12 rounds of the fight. And there's more. This clock tower, it comes with a little something extra, an exclusive campaign-only weapon, a prototype machine gun, deadly as all hell, the Vindicator. But this ain't just any loot, it's legendary loot, a new class of gear that comes with its own loot crate, and everyone at the table knows where it is. You want to get your hands on the Vindicator, you're gonna have to fight for it. But the clock tower and the Vindicator, you won't see these anywhere else. This is your one shot to claim them. So what'll it be? You gonna stand tall, or fall to the dust like the rest? Against the clock, only the best will make it out alive. Just remember, partner, time waits for no one. Get ready for the fight of your life. Put your pledge on Against the Clock today.
I completely forgot to do something here. If you watched this stream, the opening countdown timer. If you watch this stream or last stream, the opening countdown timers are custom songs created for High Noon. If you look, I want to do this really quick. The show must go on. The show will never end. I want to bring up the rule book here because I want you to see something. I'm just going to bring up one of the things I want to show you about High Noon, because this is another thing that I just find me another game like this that does this. Find me another game that does this. Let's see here. New design, new instructions. Where are you at? Rules. I'll just bring it. Here we go. Let me bring this up here. So I've got the page here. Here we are. Share the screen. Check this out. All right. This is the instructions. Okay. You see this little barcode right here at the bottom corner, or the bottom left, right? You see that? That's that QR code. That QR code, if you scan that QR code with your phone, it's going to bring up an official High Noon soundtrack of music, of songs that were composed and produced specifically for the game. You're going to have songs that were written by the songs that are sung by some of the characters in the game. You're going to hear the motivation and spirit behind Sheriff Garrett, behind Elsu, behind Colonel Rogers, Quentin Leroy, All the guys in the starter set, even and that's the song we played in the beginning here was Ki'ia's Haka. It's his battle cry. It's sung entirely in the language of the Makwa, which is the native tribe that Elsu's warband comes from. It's an amazing piece. If you haven't heard it, go back to the beginning of the stream and take a listen. It's one of my favorite songs. There's songs of by Bonnie Beecher. There's a song by Montagna Azul. There's a song by Davis McCat. The theme song for Gunsmoke Trail is in there, and we've got our very first battle track Algebramo. These are all songs that really they not only speak to the spirit of High Noon, but they add that score behind you when you're pew pew and your enemies at the battlefield. It's perfect. It's a perfect score for playing High Noon, and we'll be producing more songs. But I challenge you to find another board game out there that has its own its own library of its own soundtrack. That's what we're doing here. That's a thing that we're doing here. But I'll be showcasing more songs from the score on our live streams. But you can just scan that barcode, and that works right now. If you have the starter set, if you already have the starter set, scan the barcode on the back of the rule book and get yourself in there and listen to some of those tracks. But that's what I wanted to mention that because I keep forgetting to. I keep forgetting to do that. That's it for today. I'll see you in another live stream, guys. Yippee-ki-yay.